People often ask me, when's the best time to visit Scotland? For most people, that answer would be summer, with long days, better weather, and everything in bloom. But I love travelling Scotland at all times of the year. It's currently winter, and I'm heading north to the Scottish Highlands. Good morning from a very gloomy and miserable wintry day here in Scotland. I am currently on a little trip and I want to show you the reality of what it is like travelling Scotland during the winter months. I am quite guilty, I think, of going on trips in good weather. So when I post videos here on YouTube, it always looks like it's stunning weather in Scotland, but there is rain and bad weather in Scotland too. This little trip is really exciting because it's an area of Scotland that I haven't really visited before, and my first stop is a famous filming location for the TV series Outlander, which honestly I've never watched before, but I have seen comments from some of you saying that you've watched it and you've asked me to go to some filming locations of Outlander, but this one is a filming location for Outlander, plus other TV shows and movies as well. So let's go inside and check it out. One of the key things to always bring with you if you come to Scotland, actually no matter the time of year, is a waterproof jacket and some waterproof trousers. Let's get these on. This will hopefully save me from the rain. Let's do this. I actually forgot an umbrella. So here is the castle. This is Doune Castle. I think it's called Doune, D-O-U-N-E, I'm not sure. But wow, really impressive. It looks like you can go inside, so hopefully we can get out of the rain here. It said that this castle was very luxurious at the time. It cost £11 to go in and you get an audio guide. Doune Castle was built in the late 1300s for Robert Stewart, Duke of Albany, a man people often call Scotland's uncrowned king, because he was basically running the country during that time. You can still see his taste for grandeur everywhere. The huge gatehouse, the great hall, and the luxurious living quarters. It was a place designed to showcase his power and wealth. This room here is absolutely huge, and this was the dining room. It says on the plaque at the front that the nobility, they would eat lamb and chicken and nicer meats, whereas other people would eat beef and salt. Wow, the ceilings are so high in here. My goodness. Oh, let's go up this narrow staircase. So wet and drippy. This is so impressive, this castle. It's so well preserved. These stairs go on and on. Oh. Over the years, the castle has been a royal getaway, a garrison during the Jacobite risings, a hunting lodge, and a home for various noble families. Although the castle has fallen into partial ruin, much of it has survived, and it remains one of Scotland's best preserved medieval strongholds. I have only explored a few rooms so far of this castle, but I'm really impressed by it. It is so well preserved. It is so quiet. Maybe it's because I'm here in winter, maybe in the summer it's a completely different story. But when I compare my visit to this castle compared to Edinburgh Castle, I'm getting all these rooms to myself as I walk around. It's amazing. Look at that fireplace. That is absolutely massive. Imagine the heat that would have come out of that. Back down this winding staircase. I'm now heading up another staircase. The castle has become a bit of a star on screen, not just in Outlander, but also featuring in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Outlaw King, and Game of Thrones. I think if you've watched Outlander, you probably would appreciate this castle so much more and see it in a different way, but I think I would like to watch the episodes that were filmed here after visiting. It'd be really cool to see how they filmed it and what it looked like. I'm actually surprised at how much of this is undercover. It's so good because it's absolutely pouring out there. This is actually a really good thing to do, even on a day that it's raining. Back out into the pouring rain. My gosh, it's very hard to come across a castle in Scotland that doesn't have scaffolding. The maintenance and upkeep on these castles must be constant and so expensive as well. Here's what the castle would have looked like before it was a ruin. I really enjoyed my time in Doune Castle. It was wonderful, so old, so much history, and I think I was the only Scottish person in there visiting. There are lots of people from different countries inside, maybe fans of Outlander or some of the other series or movies that have been filmed there. But yeah, it's made me realise that when I was younger, I didn't actually take that much interest in visiting castles. I think many people can maybe relate to this, that when there's something so close by to you, you don't actually do it because it's like in your own backyard, as people say. I think going to visit these castles in Scotland is such a nice thing to do because obviously the money that you pay for the entrance fee goes back into preserving them, and also there is just such a long and incredible history in Scotland, and castles are such an iconic part of Scotland as well. But yeah, it's so nice to see all the different visitors from all over the world visiting castles when they come to Scotland. The next place I want to visit is indoors, and this is a place I've driven past so many times and I've never gone in. I'm going to go there now because it's somewhere I really want to go, and maybe some of you will be interested to see it as well. I have now pulled up at the Scottish Antique and Art Centre, and this is a huge place that sells antiques. I think there are around 3 halls of antiques. I've always been interested in antiques. I love old vintage things, and ever since staying at the farmhouse recently in Orkney, I have fallen even more in love with vintage items, because when I was staying in that farmhouse, I got a real taste of being able to use a lot of the items as well, especially in the kitchen and in the living area. So I'm really excited to have a look in here. And this is the perfect indoor activity for a day like today. I think the rain is just getting heavier and heavier. This is it. This is the antique centre here. So there's a big barn here on the left, and then straight ahead even more buildings, and then I think there's a cafe in here as well. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely pouring. Wow. Let's go in here out of the rain. Wow, there's lots of furniture here as well, and then artwork on the walls. There's a beautiful painting of Turnberry Hotel in Ayrshire. Look at that one, an old photograph of Glasgow. I came across a lovely painting of the Scottish countryside. It was of the River Calder and was £28. I then headed inside the main building, and it was all laid out into little individual shops with different names, and some sold certain categories of antiques. I don't know about you, but I would take shopping here over shopping for new things any day. I love knowing that all the items have had a previous life, and I also feel like many items from the past were built to last, and that the prices are usually better than buying things new. I came across these lovely flower paintings, a hand-painted tray, a quirky tortoise lamp, and more oil paintings of Scottish landscapes. There was a shop selling military items and other shops which sold furniture too. Oh my goodness, that antique centre is absolutely amazing. I could spend hours and hours in there walking around looking at all the different things. I think I ended up spending around an hour in there, and there were so many things I would have liked to have bought, but I just picked up two small things. The first one is a photo frame. I needed to buy a photo frame anyway. I was planning to get one for a Christmas present for someone because I have a photo to put in it. I saw this one and I thought it was very nice and bright and colourful, and it was £18, so yeah, very happy with this purchase. This is the second thing that I bought. It's a little framed painting of some flowers. I thought it was really cute and it looks so old. It was £6.50. My two favourite things that I saw in there were the oil paintings of the Scottish landscapes. I thought they were so nice, but yeah, I decided not to get them this time. Time to now go to the next place. It is so dark and gloomy out there. In the depths of winter, the sun rises around 8:45 a.m. and it sets at around 3:30 p.m. So you really have to make the most of the daylight. As I was driving along, I was thinking about summertime and how different the sunrise and sunset times are. In the peak of summer, the sunrise is at roughly 4:30 a.m. and the sunset is at around 10 p.m. That's 17 hours of daylight compared to the 7 we get at the moment in winter. I passed through the lovely town of Outlander, often called the gateway to the Scottish Highlands. I have made a stop here. It was getting quite scary driving actually. There are so many parts of the road which are flooded, and it's quite dangerous to drive through those flooded parts because the vehicle can do aquaplaning and then all the water sprays everywhere and you can skid. So I was trying to avoid the puddles, but didn't really want to go onto the other side of the road as well because there's cars coming. And then on one occasion when I was driving, there was actually a car on my side of the road. So I've pulled in here to have a quick look at this beautiful loch behind me here. How amazing does this look? This loch here is called Loch Lubnig and it is around 3 miles long. It's quite a long and narrow Scottish loch, and it's a freshwater loch. Sometimes you find lochs in Scotland that are really wide and circular, and also you can get the seawater lochs which are more like fjords and they contain salt water. Yeah, this one with the mist behind is so beautiful. Actually, we have now entered into what is officially the Scottish Highlands, and this is actually something that I've always wondered. Where is the border and boundary line of the Scottish Highlands? Most people imagine the Highlands as this big sweeping area in the north, but there is an actual geographical line that marks where the Highlands begin. It's called the Highland Boundary Fault, a natural fault line that runs across Scotland from the Isle of Arran in the southwest all the way to Stonehaven on the northeast coast. South of the line, there are the gentler, rolling hills of the lowlands, and the moment you cross it, the landscape changes into mountains, glens and lochs. Loch Lubnaig sits right on that transition. You can see the hills have become steeper and it feels much more like the Highlands. There was a short break from the rain and it has unfortunately started again, so let's keep going. I carried on driving through the pouring rain. The area I'm in now is actually part of the Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park, one of Scotland's 2 national parks. I have pulled up because the road is really flooded and it's getting dark and I don't want to drive on that road with all the water in the dark. But here is a lovely spot that I'm going to stay the night and the views are amazing. So cold. It's so easy just not to go on a trip like this, especially when the weather forecast is so rubbish. But I don't know, being here surrounded by trees and the water, it's just so nice. Just instantly makes you feel better, even when it's raining. I have come inside because it is so cold out there and it's already got pretty dark, as you can see. So I'm going to put the lights on and make this place a bit more cozy. One of my favourite things in this campervan are the fairy lights. Look at this. The fairy lights add so much coziness to the campervan, and I'm going to put the window covers on as well. I actually made these window covers back in the day, and the first ones that I made didn't do great. They shrunk and then there were gaps all around the side of the window so people could see in, but then I remade them and these ones are absolutely fine. I've had no problems with them. Usually I have an umbrella here to tuck it in, but I forgot it. It's useful for the rain and for the curtains. It's really cold and I'm going to turn on my diesel heater and also plug in my heated electric blanket. I actually got this for my birthday last year and it is so good. I am a little bit nervous about turning on the diesel heater because of all the water that I was driving over today. I think that's the most water I've ever driven over on the road in the campervan, so I'm really hoping it hasn't damaged the diesel heater and it's still going to be working okay. But I can power both my diesel heater and my heated electric blanket using my Bluetti batteries. Usually portable batteries are made of lithium, but here on this trip with me I've got the first ever sodium ion battery from Bluetti. It's called the Pioneer NA, which I think is the chemical symbol for sodium. I have it already in here. So let me take it out and show you. It's actually really quite light. Okay. I love the colour of this battery, bright blue. Sodium ion batteries use sodium, which we basically get from salt, which is much more abundant and sustainable than using lithium. Sodium ion batteries can also work really well in freezing conditions, and this one can charge devices up to -15 degrees Celsius, which is perfect for a winter van trip like this. I'm actually going to plug this in now because I am freezing. The battery has a 900 watt-hour capacity and can power devices up to 2,250 watts on its power lifting mode. The heated blanket uses around 160 watts. With all the USB and AC sockets on the front, you can pretty much charge whatever you want, from a phone to a laptop to a camera to a hairdryer to an air fryer and Starlink internet. If you'd like to try out Bluetti's first ever sodium ion battery, I will link it in the video description below. They currently have a Christmas promotion, and if you use the code BLUETTIRA, you'll get an extra 5% off. Using Bluetti batteries makes my campervan trips so much more comfortable, and thank you to Bluetti for sponsoring this video today. I'm going to be keeping this in my van as part of my new battery setup. The batteries are back in. I've plugged in the diesel heater. I really hope this works. This here is the controller, and this is where the hot air comes out of the diesel heater. It seems like it's working okay. No hot air yet, but usually it takes a little moment for the hot air to come. The diesel comes from the main fuel tank in the vehicle. When it was installed, we put a fuel line into the vehicle fuel tank rather than bringing an additional fuel tank in the van. It can work, but it can be a bit messy from a previous experience I had in a different van before. Oh yes, we've got some hot air coming out. Oh, that smells nice. I want to light a candle to make it feel even more cozy in the van. I have this really nice one here from the Isle of Mull candles, but oh, it's actually a midgy one. But yeah, it's sort of gone down the middle. It was really good for the midges though. It really helped when there were lots of midges, but there's no midges this time of year, so I'm not going to waste it. I am going to cook up something to eat now, and I bought some ingredients earlier to make prawn cocktail. The reason I'm going to make this is because prawn cocktail is a dish that's usually eaten on Christmas Day. It's usually served as a starter on Christmas Day in the UK. Not everyone eats it, but it's quite a common starter to have. And I don't know if this is a dish that people eat all around the world or if this is just a British thing. Please let me know if you also eat this on Christmas Day if you celebrate Christmas. I've actually never made prawn cocktail before, and as part of the ingredients list, I had to buy this one, Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the name of this sauce, but I've never used this before. I think I have seen it being put in cocktails, but never in a dish that I'm going to make. So looking forward to trying this. So it's quite a simple dish to make. There's not that many ingredients, so hopefully it turns out okay. I also have some soup as well because it is quite cold outside. I have a tin of soup, and this is a Marks and Spencer's one, which I had a different Marks and Spencer's one recently and it wasn't very well seasoned, so hopefully this one is a bit more seasoned than the last one. Okay, let's get cooking. So first thing is to make the sauce. We have mayonnaise, 200 grams. Hope for the best. Tomato ketchup. Teaspoon of the Worcestershire sauce. Some lemon. Salt and pepper. That tastes yummy. Here is the prawn Mary Rose sauce. I was a bit concerned due to the fact I bought tomato ketchup with 0 added sugar or salt, so I did wonder if it might taste strange, but it tastes great. I did try to get some fresh prawns, but they were sold out. Now we need to mix the prawns. Here is my first ever attempt at making prawn cocktail. This looks pretty good actually. What do you think? Let's give it a taste. Dinner is served! Can you hear the rain on the roof of the van? Glad I didn't stay in the van in the storm a few weeks back. Yummy! This bowl is a bit difficult to eat it with, but turned out quite nice. It's so rainy. The prawn cocktail turned out so good. I'm not going to have the soup because I was going to have that just to warm me up, but instead I'm going to have a nice hot drink with my dessert, which is a butter mince pie. So if you haven't heard of mince pies before, these are not meat. These are little fruit pies that are served at Christmas time, and they're very yummy. I'm also going to try and make a turmeric latte, which I've made quite a while ago, but I thought it would be quite nice to make one here in the van. Ginger powder, turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, honey or maple syrup, dash of vanilla extract, which I don't have. Black pepper in a latte. Let's see how that goes. Okay. No, that's not going to work. Here's the turmeric latte. The cinnamon hasn't dissolved very well, but let's see what it tastes like. Here is the turmeric latte. I know that's probably not to everyone's taste, but let's see what it actually tastes like. And there is a mince pie. So there's actually quite a lot of ingredients in here that are meant to be quite beneficial to health, isn't there? So ginger, turmeric, that's meant to be very good for being anti-inflammatory, so hopefully it tastes good. Ooh. Cinnamon just has that Christmas flavour to it, doesn't it? That's lovely. Really nice. I know it doesn't look the most appetising, but I'll definitely be having this again. Time for the mince pie. I don't even know if this will be warm. I was just using all I had to warm it up, so it's black on the bottom. So, ooh, it is quite warm inside. So if you don't know what's inside a mince pie, that is what is inside. Fruit like raisins and currants. That did warm it up. It worked. I've slowly been reading this book. I think I'm always reading about 5 books at one time, but I'm really enjoying this book, The Highland Clearances by Eric Richards. So if you have any interest in the Highland Clearances, I highly recommend you to get this book. I got it in a second-hand bookshop in Cullen when I was there a few months back, but I'm sure it's available in other places and online. But it's a heavy-going book, but it is quite easy to understand. It's written in a way that it's not too difficult, so you can really understand exactly what happened. Very good book. Let's see what the weather's like out here. Oh gosh, pitch dark and absolutely pouring with rain. Oh, it's horrible out there. Absolutely miserable. I was just checking the Bluetti sodium battery here, and the heater is currently using 10 watts, so it's hardly used anything at all. It's really low power, this diesel heater. It is really quite toasty in the van. I've had the heater on and then the electric blanket off and on, and I have been writing down some things in my notebook. So I was looking through the goals that I wrote for 2025, and then I was seeing if I'd done them, and then I wrote some notes about how I felt in 2025, and then also if I didn't manage to do any of the goals. Some of them I didn't achieve at all, so I explained about that. Some of them I actually gave up on because I lost interest in them, which I think is totally fine, but then other ones I did achieve. I have been writing down some of my ideas for goals for 2026, so I have quite a few of them here, but I will share some of them with you. And if you'd like to share any of your goals for 2026, please write them in the comments below. It's always nice to hear about what you are working on. So some of my goals include try cooking something new each month. I shared recently that I want to do more cooking, so yeah, I guess the prawn cocktail counted as something this month, but I would like to try new dishes quite often next year. Another thing is I'd like to spend less time on my phone. I think maybe many people can relate to that one. I feel like I waste time sometimes just scrolling on Instagram or on TikTok, and then 20 minutes has passed and I don't remember anything that I've seen or that I've watched. So I would prefer to spend that time doing other things like reading or maybe calling a friend or something. So that's something I'd like to work on a bit more next year. Another one is I'd like to start knitting. So I actually experienced knitting for the first ever time quite recently, and I have a video coming about that experience, and I really loved knitting, and it's something that I'd like to do more of in 2026, and by the end of the year I would really like to have knit something. So maybe by sharing it in this video, that will hold me accountable to actually do it. So that's something else I want to do next year. But yeah, there's lots more here, but those are 3 that I think are fun to share. I'm going to get ready for bed now, but I'm definitely going to need earplugs tonight because the rain is very noisy. But it's almost quite relaxing as well to listen to the raindrops. I'm so cozy inside here, but then outside is so wet and windy and rainy. Okay, let's get the bed ready. Good morning from the camper van. I had such a nice sleep last night. I had the earplugs in and I could still hear the raindrops a little bit, but it was so relaxing to fall asleep to the sound of the raindrops and so cozy in the van. I turned the heater off at night and then I had the hot water bottle which I made up, which kept me nice and warm all night. This morning I just enjoyed sitting here in the van looking out at the loch, and I think the water has actually come up a little bit compared to yesterday, even though this is a freshwater loch. So I wonder if that's because of all the rain that we've had. Yesterday there was actually another place that I had really wanted to visit, but I didn't manage to make it there before it got dark, and I was feeling a bit apprehensive driving on the roads with all the water. So I'm going to head there this morning. As I started driving, the rain became so heavy. I was driving down the road to the location that I wanted to visit, and I saw a huge sign saying the road is closed, so possibly it's flooded or something. So I had to reverse back and turn and make my way out, and it's such a shame I couldn't go because the place I wanted to visit was the gravesite of a man called Rob Roy. Even though I haven't been able to go there to show you his grave, I will tell you about this man because it's quite an interesting story. Rob Roy lived between the years of 1671 and and 1734. And he was a Scottish outlaw, cattle drover and folk hero who originated from the Loch Lomond area. He was born into Clan MacGregor at a time when that clan were being persecuted. He became known for his defiance to the local authorities and as a fighter. After a failed business deal left him accused of fraud, he became an outlaw. He spent years raiding, hiding and negotiating his way through the Highlands. His life has inspired countless legends, making him one of Scotland's most famous rebels. I'll definitely need to come back to this area another time because it is so beautiful, and at that time I will make sure to visit the grave of Rob Roy. This trip is not really going as I had planned, but I'm going to head back towards the town of Outlander now. When I drove through yesterday, it looked so lovely with all the independent shops, so I'm going to go there for a little wander. Made it to the town of Outlander. Oh my gosh, the rain on the drive here was wild. So it's finally calmed down a bit. Wow, so many lovely shops and bakeries. So let's have a look. As I was driving in, I noticed this down here and it looks like a loch or a river or something, but actually I think it's just flooded. This is another car park that I was thinking of parking in. My goodness. All the water has flooded into the car park here. Wow, this is crazy. So much rain. Yeah, look, that is a park over there. And there's benches and it's all flooded. Hope it doesn't go up any further into those buildings. Around 3,000 people live in Outlander, and it's known for its Victorian high street. So they have the Christmas tree up already, and there's a beautiful church as well. That was a really fun time exploring Outlander. I got a few foodie Christmas gifts for some family members. Thank you so much for watching this little winter van life adventure in Scotland, and I'll see you next time.